All right, let's jump right in. So you see this, and at first glance, it might look a little intense, right? Kind of complex. But what if I told you there's a really simple, elegant idea hiding underneath it all? A way of thinking that can help you organize pretty much anything.
And here's the kicker, the really cool part. The very newsletter we're using as our source material for this explainer, well, it's a fractal grid itself. The thing we're talking about is the thing we're looking at. How cool is that?
So yeah, that's the big question, isn't it? What on earth is a fractal grid? And why is this super simple framework suddenly gaining so much steam? We're talking about everyone from major universities to global communities using it to make sense of really complex stuff.
So here's how we're going to break it all down. We'll start with the core concept, then I'll show you how to draw one yourself. After that, we'll check out some amazing community examples, dive into the growing universe around this idea, and finally, show you how you can get in on the action.
Okay, first things first. Let's get into the big idea. What is this grid of everything? Think of it less as a tool and more as, well, a new way to see the world, a framework for your own thoughts. So here it is, the official definition. It's a way to organize your ideas where every single thing is both a complete unit and it's made up of smaller parts. But, and here's the mind-bending part, each of those smaller parts is also its own complete unit. It's this beautiful, simple, repeating idea. And that's the key, you know? This recursive logic. A team is made of people, right? But each person is a whole individual. A book is made of chapters, but each chapter is its own little story. Once you start seeing this pattern, that every whole is made of parts and every part is its own whole, you start seeing it absolutely everywhere. Now I know what you might be thinking. Okay, this sounds a little abstract, but what's so amazing about it is how incredibly easy it is to actually do. Seriously, let's look at how you can draw one, like right now. It is literally this simple. You just draw a big box. That's your main topic, your level 0. Then you draw a tic-tac-toe grid inside it. Boom, 9 smaller boxes. And last, you just bold or highlight that center square, which is usually where you put your main point or summary. That's it. You've just created a powerful structure for organizing any idea. So, this is where it gets really interesting. This isn't just some neat thought experiment. There's a whole global community out there using this simple little tool to map out some incredibly complex subjects. And this just shows you how incredibly versatile it is. I mean, look at this. On the left, you've got Amadou Masali using a grid to map out a lecture on the history of the Middle Passage. And on the right, you have Dustin Madison over in China using the exact same structure to plan out educational tasks for his students. Completely different topics, one simple framework. Amazing. And it's truly happening all over the world. People are using it in Sierra Leone to brainstorm economic growth, in the US for deep dives into social history, and in China for lesson planning. It's more than just a tool, you know? It's becoming this universal language for organizing our thoughts. This simple little box has sparked a whole creative universe around it, a real movement, and the origin story is just fantastic. It all started, like so many great things, with a simple doodle. I just love this. The creators, Etsy and Dr. Rod King, they're just working on a notepad for their project, and Etsy makes this little doodle, just a spontaneous little drawing. And that doodle, well, it would become the face of the entire project. And there he is. Everybody meet Fragman, the official mascot. It just gives this whole thing such a charming, personal vibe. It connects this really powerful intellectual concept back to a simple human moment of creativity. So let's talk about just how far that little doodle has come. Because the project just scored a massive win. They're going to be presenting at SXSW EDU in 2026. And if you're not familiar, SXSW EDU is a huge deal. The creators have this great line where they call it the Grammys of Education. It's where all the most innovative thinkers and leaders in education come together to share the next big thing. And getting in is no joke. Their proposal was chosen out of more than 1,400 submissions. The acceptance rate is only about 11%. So yeah, this little idea isn't so little anymore. It's being recognized on a major international stage as a true innovation. And that recognition is just snowballing. They got a commission from Carnegie Mellon for a new comic. They earned a fellowship at Harvard to apply this to digital well-being. Oh, and they've also soft launched their own software. This thing is not just spreading, it's getting baked into the highest levels of education and research. And you can see from this timeline that the community is buzzing. You've got virtual workshops, STEM events for girls, recurring community meetups, all leading up to the big show at SXSW EDU. There is always something going on in the fractal gridding universe.
So, after seeing all this, you're probably wondering, okay, this is awesome. How can I get involved? Well, good news. The community is super welcoming, and there are a bunch of ways for you to jump in.
You can subscribe to the newsletter we've been looking at today. You can go try out the new software for yourself, or hey, you can even get a physical notepad and start sketching. There's a LinkedIn group, a gallery where you can see other people's grids, and you can even just email the team directly. Whatever your style, there's a way for you to connect. Which brings us to our final thought. I want to leave you with the same challenge that was posed in the newsletter. What is the absolute simplest fractal grid you can possibly imagine? And more importantly, how is that simple little thing both a complete object and a collection of parts? It's a fantastic little puzzle to get you started on your own journey into this universe in a box.